Peace and blessings, Royal Family. You know, I just had an incredible meditation I want to share with y'all. You know, it has some very good significance to it. You know, usually we all know about God, you know, and when we say it, even though most of us in our conscious self won't equate it to him or she, just the absolute, you know, but then most of us in our unconscious self be like God, him, he. Even in a lot of my presentations or our little street lectures where we walk and talk, I be calling him, him, you know, and I do see an image of him, you know, and it's been with me for a quick minute, but I would say for everybody to know that's not the absolute, that's not the one you would say is the most high or what we would call the pinnacle. There is really none. It's like a depot. You know, look at that place as just another zone in your chakras, which I'm going to be explaining so that you have fuller understanding, because this is all chakra based. You know, one thing now, like I was saying, with us with this God theory, and it is theology, theos, and what we get now is us having the patriarch season system put on us, so we equate everything to the mostly masculine definition of our experiences is more masculine based in our understanding and our cognition. It's like you're using mostly your right hemisphere of your brain because of the simple fact it was trained that way to see everything in an analytical way or subjective way, you know. So with that in mind now, we got this concept of God. And what I see in myself too, you know, and the journey I go upon is the same. But it was changed this time because in my meditation, as I went into my state of going into, and I went into my body double, this time you could say I'm working on my own body. I could understand that now fully. And so I'm over my eyelid. I turn into a subatomic particle, really. It's like I'm seeing my body in its full shape, but I'm a subatomic particle working on it. And so now I realize where I'm at. I'm right above my eyebrow, going through a vorticity, a little wormhole, like, which is a chakra. You know, this is one of what you would say acupuncture point. It's a vortex that spins, and when it spins in there, it gets energies. This is where you get your senses from, your higher psychic senses, your soul senses. And so now it must be a blockage there if I'm over there and I'm working through that wormhole, or you could say chakra vorticity, vortex. And all of a sudden I was interrupted because it was like a blockage there. It couldn't go through. And it seemed like now all of a sudden a woman came, just like how I see the one I call God, you know, been him and me riding this out for a while, which I didn't notice. He's there in your astral world. All of them is there. You just don't notice it, man. They look like darkness to you, or you just don't know what you're looking at, really. But I know what everything up there is by now. It's been a long time up there, so I'm very familiar with what I'm looking at, these scenes. Most of us will call them mandalas. That's what it look like to you if you're not trained. They look like a giant mandala, but in it, it's like a hologram inside of a hologram inside of a hologram. Look at that giant mandala that look like a beautiful tile. Each little pixel in it is worlds upon worlds upon worlds of your soul memory. And some of us have the mandala, we see it, and we locked out of our own soul memory because all you get is the mandala, but you don't know how to operate it and what to do with it to open it up. That it's like that Pandora box, or the box inside the box inside the box inside the box, that for infinitely keep going to make that beautiful tile. And that tile now rests and resides in one ray of light. So, you know, that's why you see the Egyptians looking into the ray of light. You got societies called the Seven Rays and the Rose Cross and all that. All these societies would know the secret science of the mandala. And so you yourself is a mandala. We live on the mandala. Everything is a mandala. As you subatomically get smaller, you see more of it. You would become a part of it. So it would be like, as you become subatomic, you now start going more deeper into yourself. You invert deeper and downwards into your own core. Your core is not like you're going into your heart, yes, your physical heart. You got an aura around you, a whole big aura field, and this aura field is what you're going through, as it seemed like a forever ending journey, like Alice in the wormhole, and Alice in Wonderland going down that, whatever it is, a wormhole, and meeting all the different people. That's exactly what it is. They just put it into a funny, fable. So anyways, now, as this blockage is coming, and I see this woman in the same position that the one I call God plays, which is the whole background, basically. You could be standing and you see your shape in the background, it just will assume the whole face or the whole body of this being, and it just is everything, so you can't even deny it, like, oh shit, all right, I got it. So now it's a woman. I could see its look and everything, so I'm like, oh. But now, usually in the astral, I'm trained to think, either to apprehend it and take out whatever badness in it, but I don't see it coming, no violence. It wasn't part of a scene where two people was arguing and fighting, so there was no need for me to get involved. But I see it came to me, to my eye, and it wiped tears coming out my eye. And I'm like, whoa. But I'm not crying, and I don't feel nothing, but it was like making the tears come out, and wiping it and kissing my forehead and showing me mad love. And I'm like, what is this about? Maybe it's some shit deep down inside of me or something, I don't know. But it actually made me recognize there's this mother, the true mother. I've been looking for her for the longest, because we had originally the matriarch system that we all represented the mother. I did my research into that. I understand it very well, and you got from that where the woman's actually was the successions of the bloodline, because she kept the genetics. So any village woman would have been the queen, and she would have been actually the one who's honored and respected the most, due to the fact she was the one who fathered the people there. She actually made that little group, that little tribe, and so they always worshiped her and had her as the head queen, and she kept the bloodline going. If she died, the whole tribe will die off, because she was the source of bringing the tribe together. So it became the source of kingship. If you was now the owner of that land and you're the king of that little tribe, outsider could come foreign to that whole community, because all the tribes knew each other and rest together. But if somebody from distant place come along, a stranger, he have the right to challenge whoever in that tribe on a one-on-one as who is the king for his daughter or his wife, whichever one it is, who carries the bloodline. So now it's going to be his blood coming from there on out, because if you're from the bloodline family, you only go to special school and get special education, so you don't you're separated from what they call the Gentiles or the gents, because they was of a different breed. That's where you get bastards and the pair, whatever you say, pair brother. I don't know that word for a Catholic church, the one who carries the stuff up. That's like a poor person, a bastard, an unfathered child. That's why in their doctrine they have the church is involved in if you have a father or if you don't have a father. And those who have a father is considered legitimate people, citizens. And the ones who didn't, those was the gens or Gentiles, the indigenous people of the land, who we didn't believe in all that you had a father, because back then they didn't name their kids by their last name. The last name is what's called a surname. It's not real. It's a cognomen, because nobody had that until just recently when the Christianity took over. Prior to that, you would just have a first name, and your last name would be your father's name. So your name would have been like Sean of Solomon, you understand? David of Keith, meaning Keith is your father and your name is David. That's it. So it doesn't go like that. But later on, the Romans started playing like jokes with people and started actually taking everybody for chattel goods. So now when you had a first name, your name would have been like David Reynolds Smith. So it would have been now like David is your name, and Reynolds would denote the father name, but now Smith is added as the chattel owner name. So it became what's called a surname or cognomen. It's not real, but you see, that's how we got caught up now, and then they used it against everybody to make nobility, saying, oh, if you don't have genealogy now, you can't actually be recorded in history, and you're not considered nobility or part of the royal bloodline. And so those type of people was shunned or put in the wilderness, or what they called it, to further people out, while the ones who had genealogy and bloodline, they kept in. You understand? They became like high-class society. But the thing to it, it didn't have no color back then. It wasn't color-based. Racism is like a new thing. People was based off your class. It could be black people of high class. These kings who maintained their genealogy, and from Africa and in Turkey and in the Berbers. It was all in all cultures they had it. So you couldn't tell by just if you was to judge by the color of a skin or geography or where you originated from, because it was aristocracy. Whoever was of a higher class, who knew their genealogy, who had a father and knew the right of their mother. Really, it would have been really all the people from the matriarchs. So they changed the matriarch and put patriarch. So you can't be traced no more through the father. It's the you all know the woman's mitochondrial DNA or whatever that makes all that stuff traceable. Like how they could go back to Lucy's through the woman. And so when you render it to the man or make him the son or the heir, you actually forfeit your birthright through that way. And so by you forfeiting that, you become chattel goods by law. That's why they're able to make you a citizen and give you Social Security and a birth certificate, which is a trust bond. You're not really the owner. You need your birth record, not a birth certificate, you know. So anyways, this is why now the woman is the true one. She was here first. So being that she's the true spiritual aspect of how the actual doctrines went, they remixed it to put the father thing in it because of the patriarchal thing and because of their new, well, you can look at it like this. When the Goths sacked Rome, they actually implemented all that stuff to give them nobility through this Jesus Christ name and the heir to the Grail, which will be your soul. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to realize, like, the Grail itself, the cup is a masculine and feminine principle of a triangle up and a triangle down. So they're trying to tell you they own your soul now. And so they actually govern you in this physical world. But they did it through Jesus, the name of Jesus Christ. And from what I was seeing, it was actually the indigenous people who was the followers of Jesus Christ. And they actually remixed it and took the Goths, the Saxons, the Brits, whatever you want to call them, these first people, they spent their time, they also known as the Jews too, they spent their time in the wilderness with the blacks, with Hams and them, the Canaanites. These are the people that they say Moses took out of Egypt. They were taken out of everywhere, Persia, all over. So their stuff is mixed up, mysticism and Sufism, all combined to give us this Judaism, which became Hebrewism, which is what we believe is actually real. It's not. It's just a mix-up of every Babylonian, Persian, and Chaldean alphabets and systems of cosmology, magic, combined to give you one, put under one category or one system called Kabbalah, the Gotia, the Bible. Everybody had their own version of it, but it's like everybody who got intelligence and consciousness caught on to that. People was worshiping their chakras. That's right, their chakras. Every deity, every entity is in one ray of light. And you have to go through it because it connects to your actual sympathetic system, or what's called your cannabinoid system. You could Google that. Once it connects to it, it's like you're not you. You was just taught you through what you see externally. But inside of you, You already was. You already been. And that's what you face when you go to sleep, where you come from, where you was birthed here in this 90-degree angle of reflection. You see, once you do this now, you get to realize you're just a part of a platform, a show that's going on. You're not in the show. How they trick you? They actually got you believing. Look at the oldest picture that they got. It's a picture of an eye, right? And you see a tree in the, and it's looking at a tree in the distance. Now it got the triangle from the focal point of the eye to triangulate the distance of the tree. Now in the back of the retina in the picture, you don't see nothing. That's how they got you thinking. You actually believe you're seeing stuff outside of you. And it's funny when you put it like that. Think about it. There is nothing outside of you. When you look at the actual right scientific picture now, you will see the eye straight up with the optical triangle to the tree measuring it. Then you will see in the back of your retina the picture of the tree upside down. Egyptian parallel world. Oh, could we actually be in our brain interpreting something that's upside down already, and we thinking we're right side up, and we thinking it's real when it's only in our head? That's what they know that you don't know. So they put all this stuff for you, this family system, the movies, the actual 9/11, everything is a convincing of your consciousness to create this reality that you're actually experiencing right this second. You gotta understand, without you participating, there would be no experience for them to do. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You remember, the little Dee man is behind the whole trickster game, tricking everybody. Got Dorothy and the lion and the toughest people already messed up, thinking that they don't have a heart, they don't have this. And just by him encouraging them, they felt like, oh, I changed, now I got a heart. Oh, see, they got y'all with that. But this is why I want to wake everybody up to understand that you can't see nothing outside of you. Figure that out. If I can't see nothing outside of me, this is the scariest thing in the world. What am I walking on? What am I touching when I touch these things? Think about it. And the funny thing is your eyes, right and left, don't see the same two images. One is clear and upside down, and the other one is fuzzy. And it could be right side up, it could be sideways. It changes. It depends upon your perception now. And then these two images come together to give you a three-dimensional reality. So who's making this reality so real that every step you take, it seems like you're walking on something? When you jump, you're on something. Everything you do, you're on something. But when you close your eyes and you actually go into this first state of sleeping, which is like REM sleep, you get swept into another world before you fall into the deep, deep, deep state of your, what's that? I think I said it wrong. Alpha state is when you go into the short sleep before you actually go into the dream world. And when you're in alpha state, this REM sleep is the deep, deep sleep where they can't mess with you and you just go out of unconsciousness into the dark abyss. But before that, when you start nodding your head like this, you're in what's called a REM sleep. You break this reality and go to that reality for a quick minute. That's your dream world. You see your eyes flattering back and forth in your head, and you just flattering back and forth. I could tell you what's even going on while that's happening. It's like you're wrestling with a cell, but it's hard to make everybody see it right now. Later on, we're going to learn it because it's all a part of Lord of the Rings. It's everything that I'm learning, I switched up. It's so funny, when I switched up to the ring, it's like the ring at the end of the rosary beads now. So I took off the unk. That's when this happened. Right after that, I went into a meditation. I was standing doing a mirror meditation, forming the circle ring with my hands, looking through the actual ring now that's on my chain. And now, oh, it looks nice here. This is the ring right here. I just focused my concentration right through the middle. That's how you doing. And that's the key. One thing I'm going to start doing is actually going deeper into yoga so that we have an understanding how concentration is important. If you don't have the ability to concentrate on what you want, you cannot will none of this that I'm saying into existence. You're not in control of your mind. Your mind is going to be constantly running, and you're dealing with these forces that we're trying to perfect ourselves from, because that's what we're walking on. That's what's there hiding that you don't see. It's these energies that's actually these beings, these stellar beings, these zodiac beings, that's all working with what we call a Doldabath to trick your mind. You actually don't act. We're not here acting, we're not thinking, we're not here going, what we're here to do. In reality, all we're doing is reacting. Everything we do, we react. You go to work and provide because you have to eat, you're hungry. You don't have a roof over your head, so you do it. You put on clothes to shelter yourself from the cold. Everything you do is a reaction thing. You don't just do something to do it. And so you will notice that you have kids, you have to go buy them clothes, you have to go do this, you have to do that. You realize all our five senses do is a reactor. It does not stimulate or provide the actual creation of anything. It just reacts to whatever is created. And so if you don't put yourself to catch yourself, that if you're living in your external self and not actually going within and seeking answer within by not reacting and calming down to what's called the chitta, the mind, and not letting the mind control your body, you're going to always be in a reactive state. That means you're not going to be able to control your willpower. You know, concentration, what we're talking about here, is to actually open your mouth and say words. You know, it's the same like taking steps. Watch a baby when it first crawls. Walking is not a simple thing to do. It's very complicated. But to you now, at this point, you've been doing it with such efficiency and perfection that it don't require you to think. But we neglect the fact that it is in a big thing to walk. So think about putting the words together, how the child put the words together. It's like very hard. It took him a while. It actually worked in like a rhythm, a circadian rhythm, where with his actual movement of his mouth, his legs formed the same movement too that gave him. If you look, a child crawl and start making noise, walk and start saying words. That's actually how it goes. It's the same with you. So the concentration it takes for you to put words together to actually articulate yourself, it's very powerful. But a lot of us use it in negative ways, or don't even take the time out, like I said, to be conscious of what energy and concentration it takes to make words. So like when we said first came the word, you got to realize all that energy that I just tell you to concentrate on to bring about words. Because you're talking thoughts, emotions, everything now that go through you. You have to sift through them, see which one is cognitive, and then put them into sentences that make sense, and then bring them into ideas that is concepts that will actually create your reality. And so once you're able to see that, then you understand why the word is serious. Your word is bond. Your word could break people. Your word could destroy people. So all the building of your body, the looks that you have, everything you got in your mind, all your heart, all your love, is compressed into your words. If you didn't have the words, it would be like you're in court, guilty, meaning, you know, silence is a form of guilt. Anything could be held against you, anything could be said. So your words is the creative force of everything. So now keep that in mind, and you will learn that you have to curb your words. Keep everything in order and being conscious of the moment you're in. You know, words dictate time. Think about it. I just said these words, and you think about it, it's between a time period. This time period is the same like the breath. You breathe in and breathe out in the same rhythm. And together with the words, it could be a negative rhythm or it could be a positive rhythm. What state are you in? Think about your demeanor now, your characteristics. What's your character, your personality like? Is it based on your environment? Hey, what's up, bitch? What's up, nigga? Yo, yo. Are you conscious of that? You go up to work. Hey, how you doing, Joe? Have a nice day. You conscious of that too? Where you at in between there? Alright. So you get to see now when we talking personality and demeanor, those is the actual precursors to making choices. What your demeanor is and your attitude is going to make you choose what you're going to say. So, like, you know, you on the streets and somebody disrespect you, you're going to choose a different thing because of your demeanor than when you're in the office and somebody feel offended you or disrespected you, you're going to choose something different. You got to be mindful of those right there. You see how it's the same offense, but you choose difference because of the environment you're in. Because it produces different demeanors and personalities. These personalities is the splits that's inside of you. You're getting it now? By you grasping a whole and being conscious of it, it's as simple as staying in the moment. These personalities is your past. And a lot of it be trying to predict what you're going to do in the future, which becomes what we call darkness or ignorance, because it's something you can't predict till it comes. So we either living in the past of our emotions, and which make us have anxiety or just start reacting. Like I said, it's a reaction thing. Or we got fear or ignorance of what's to come, and we start pre-predicting that we believe this is going to be, and we never be in the present moment. And when you've been not in the present moment, it means you're not conscious. You're not actually efficient with what you're trying to accomplish, or you're not efficient within your understanding or willing of your reality. So you got to keep all these in mind when you sit down, meditate upon these views. All these views that takes away the ego from you now and purify yourself so that you can be you. Not you, the environmental you, not you, the hurt you that been through bad relationship, not you that want to get back with somebody. Leave all of those. Take yourself, close your eyes, and picture yourself at the edge of the side of a cliff. Now stand backwards. It's only clouds forever going down. You can't see it. It's the abyss of darkness down there. But it's the most beautifulest, bluest hues of waterfall and greens of greens. All the colors of nature that make it so beautiful. And at the bottom of it is the hands, a cloud, a big fluffy cloud hands waiting to catch you. Now just fall. But on the journey down, release yourself. Get smaller, 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 as you become just consciousness, a ball of energy. Leave all those headaches, all those pains, all those prides, all those insecurities, all those thoughts. Just leave them all on that journey falling. They'll freeze right there in time. It's your box. It's your treasure box now. As you fall into the cloud of this conscious energy, you're renewed, a new person. Now get up. Close the chest inside that box and seal it. Throw the key away and come out a new person. Leave that there. Don't bring it up no more. You know, every time you're going through something, you could use that procedure right there to refresh, renew. It's a form of desolation. Remember that. That's set. Set is here for a reason. If you can't forget, you can't forgive, and you can't take yourself out of the situation. And when you act off a situation or you feel off a situation, your impulse is based upon actions of the situation. It's not pure. So you never react because it was something that made you act. You wait, you think, you breathe, go in. And you will see that everything was a solid test. Anyway, I got to go. University of Conscious Science. We're going to get more into the mother because she's what it is. She's love. I'm here to demonstrate that right now, but she's real. I can't say she's not in any form or way, fashion, because we were just discussing the matriarch and how the system worked, and her presence is still here if we want to see her, if we believe in her, if we're in our most desperate time and we need, and you want, and you actually know it's the mother is there. You understand? So is the father. There is no one. There is no one. It's everything in nature is united as in one spirit. One meaning everybody is the ultimate positive and negative that makes one. There's no duality. So when you're talking the father, you're talking the mother. Yes, this was birthed you. Both of them, like how you had a father and a mother. So it doesn't matter which one you represent, just as long as you know that there is both. And it's replicated in your holographic Mandela body. Your body, half of you is feminine, half of you is masculine, right and left side, just like your brain is two hemispheres, right and left side. So everything is polarized to have the woman there. It's which one you recognize now. You see, balancing out consciousness and the soul, you have to recognize both, because you're both. You have compassion in you and you have the ability to destroy. It's which one you want to express at that time. Just be conscious of it. Don't let outside influence actually make you react in ways that's not you. All right. Anyways, thanks for your time. University of Conscious Science. One love.